Yeah, I mean, it starts with people. Um, Going back with the process, and you know, Mickey a few years back mentioned something about this facility, and I think at one point the Redskins had looked at it, and then last year having a chance myself to see it, meet a few of the people here that work at the Greenbrier, and then eventually Mr. Justice. You know, it's one of those things that gained a little momentum, and it continued to gain momentum, and then, you know, lo and behold, all of a sudden there's an agreement, and now there's a lot of pressure that goes into that, a lot of things that have to take place for it to happen this nice. I mean, if you're looking out, and I had made one trip earlier in the spring, but then really was updated with a lot of pictures, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes, and James Nagaoka and Jay Romig, and that's just starting with a few on our end, and then on this end, I wouldn't be able to hit the list of people, but Jim, he and I would talk about once a month, and all of a sudden the fields, you know, the key was the grass. Is that going to grow in time? Then the Advocare Center was built, and there was pressure 90-some days for a building like this to go up, and then really being functional is pretty amazing. So there were a lot of parts that went into it, and then there's the arrival where you actually get to see it for the first time, and it's been above and beyond, you know, the expectations. And again, the weight room, every piece of weight equipment was brought in by Rogue Fitness, and they've got their Super Bowl going on in California with the CrossFit Games, and they sent a crew in and had a weight room designed for this facility. So the first 48 hours have been really just informative, and also been really pleasing with regards to just the logistics, where the team is staying in regards to the hotel. You know, we'll deal with the weather each day like we've done before when we've been outside, but I think it's really a credit to the people involved, and you start with leadership, you start with Jim and his staff, and the people back in New Orleans, and all of a sudden, you know, here we are. So I'm not surprised, but I'm very excited and pleased by everything that's happened, and it's happened in a real short period of time. It's pretty amazing.
Sean, with the conditioning test just coming about, when did you decide to do the conditioning test, and how many NFL coaches do you think did the conditioning test? Like, I don't think Andy
I was hoping, I wanted just to get an idea. I did this a year ago, try to get an idea of what it's like. And you know, the plan was, we had a number of players do the test back in New Orleans, the early reports, the rookies, quarterbacks, some injured players. So there was a segment of the team that passed their physicals, did the test on Monday, and I was hoping to do it earlier in the week, and I've just kind of been battling this chest cold, and so I waited. And then I just thought today would be a good time just to do it within the framework of the test itself. And it was tough. It was the first 5 yards pushing that sled. You know, it was like biting too much, and I was worried about chewing it. But listen, I was pleased with how our players performed. They, you know, on that field turf, it's about the surface. So when you're pushing a sled, like one of these road sleds, the surface friction with the weight on it, the 45-pound plate, the kettlebell, that surface friction is important, whether there's a lot of it or not a lot of it. And there were areas that were tougher than others, because you know, when you put a field turf in, you lay that black small tire filling, and so when that sled would hit some of those high spots, it was, you know, it was like it stopped. And so that was challenging, but I thought overall the team really handled the challenge well. And fortunately, it cleared up enough for us because it rained earlier, but it was good.
Sean, now what, as far as